Hi, I'm Karen X Cheng, and if you're wondering if the Instagram algorithm changed on you again, this session is for you. I am here with Adam Mosseri. He's the head of Instagram. Adam, you're the one in charge, and so now we have a chance to ask you anything. And so earlier this week, I posted to my stories what questions we have for you, and we're going to get through as many of them as we can. Adam, are you ready?
Yeah, please bring it on. I'm excited.
All right. So a lot of creators on Instagram have had insane growth lately, but what I'm hearing from so many other creators is that their engagement is down. They feel like the algorithm is working against them. And so for the creators who are feeling this way, what is the best way to grow on Instagram in 2021?
Ooh, starting off with a good easy one. I like it. Well, a couple different things I'll say is today, one of the things I want everyone to understand is that we can't guarantee stable reach. It's not that we don't want to, we would love to, but even if we stop changing how ranking works, what people are interested in changes. More and more people are joining Instagram and posting more and more things. So there's more competition, and you know the world sort of moves around us all the time. Mother's Day is a good example. People post a lot of pictures of, of their moms, and then you're competing with that, and that's hard to compete with a mom. So we do want you to know that, and we want to make sure that we do what we can to grow everyone's reach, and we want to do other things or create value for creators in other types of ways as well. But I want to be really honest about the fact that it can't be stable for everyone. We try and rank to try and show people what they're most interested in. And we see that when we do that, they're happier with Instagram. They use Instagram more, and that actually creates more value for creators downstream because the pie overall is bigger. It's also obviously good for us at Instagram, but we don't always get it right. We make mistakes. So trying to do more to improve, make less mistakes, and be more transparent about what we do. Now, you asked how to grow. There is no silver bullet. I am sorry. Every audience is different. What's best for your audience, I'm sure, is different than, or is not best for another group's audience, another creator's audience. But a couple of things are good. I'm not going to just say post everything everywhere, which I think you might hear a lot. But I do think one of the most important things is to experiment, is to try new things and figure out what's resonating with your audience now, because it might be different than it was a half a year or a year ago. There are other broad things. I think, leaning into video is good. Videos need to be catching the first, 2 seconds to get people's attention as they scroll by and feed, and that's good. Using hashtags is valuable. A healthy, feed, a couple feeds a week, a couple stories a day. But again, I wish there was a silver bullet. I wish there was just a formula I could hand over to you, but there unfortunately isn't.
I appreciate the honesty. I've definitely felt it's gotten a lot more competitive with so many creators jumping on. I noticed that one of the most effective ways for me to grow has been with Reels, and for a lot of creators, it has been. So this question is from our international creators who don't have Reels in their country yet, which is, when is Reels coming to their country?
Yeah, it's a pain point. I get this. You should see my DMs. It's mostly verify me and when does
Ah,
Reels or music sticker come into my country. The challenge is music rights. It's just about us securing the rights for music in whatever or with whoever the local um, institutions or companies are that have those rights. And so we're trying to expand as fast as we can to as many countries as possible. You'll see more and more come online, but it unfortunately is not yet out everywhere. And we're trying to do all we can to get there as fast as we can.
all right, that makes sense. Good to know. Speaking of getting verified, I got this question a lot too. That blue check mark, I know we all want it. So how do we get verified? What are you looking for in that mysterious application process of yours?
Oh, yeah. We've tried to demystify this one a little bit. Generally, the hope with verification is to disambiguate people who are being impersonated. It's not supposed to be a status symbol. It's supposed to be if someone's trying to pretend to be you, you can make sure people know who the real you is. That said, I get that there's a lot of appeal. People want it. It's that blue check mark. You can now apply in the app, which is a big, well, I don't know what to
Mhm.
call it, a step forward that we did maybe a year or two now. We're mostly looking for notoriety. Are you of a certain level of prominence? To try and evaluate that in a more objective way, that we try to look for essentially media about you. So it has the press written about you in your country. We are expanding the number of media that we look at to try to make sure that we are being more inclusive with an eye towards equity. We're trying to make sure we are careful and cognizant of any biases the media has. Certain media in certain countries have biases, which are can be problematic, which we then become subject to. So we're adding more and more publications over time. But usually, if you're being denied, it's because we haven't been able to find a sufficient amount of coverage. And so if you have some coverage, attach that, send links to that, that helps.
Okay, that is super helpful. Now I know we have to try and get press coverage. I know there was a session for Creator Week earlier about how to do that and pitch to reporters. So that is really good to know. I'd love to talk about money. So as creators, we're all trying to get paid. We had a good session earlier today about this. I've been hearing a lot of rumors and news for new monetization features. So I'd love to know, what does the future of monetization look like on Instagram?
So if you take a big step back, one of the things I worry about is if we think about the different ways that we create value for creators today, almost all of that value right now is in that distribution or that reach bucket. And that's something, like I said before, that is going to be volatile. We're going to try and continue to grow the pie. I'm sure we're going to see more and more creators grow over time, but it's not going to be something that we can rely on every creator always growing all the time. It's just not possible. So we need to create, if we want to be the best platform for creators long term, a whole suite of things or tools that creators can use to help do what they do. We need to do more to help creators tell their stories with creative tools, to reach an audience by doing better and more creator-focused ranking work, to make a living, which you just asked about, and then also to make sure creators feel safe on the platform and doing all that they do. But on making a living, even there, I think it's super important that we create a whole suite of different tools, because what you might use or what might be relevant for you as a creator might be very different than an athlete or a writer. And so largely they fall into three categories. One is commerce. So either we can do more to help with branded content, we can do more with affiliate marketing, which we announced this week, we can do more with merch, which we also announced some improvements this week with creator shops. The second is ways for users to actually pay creators directly. So whether it is gated content or subscriptions or tips like badges or other user payment type products, I think there's a lot to do there. I love those because those give creators a direct relationship with their fans, which I think is probably more sustainable and more predictable over the long run. I think if you're running a business and as your creator, you're a business, you need to have some predictability. And then the third area is rev share, where we're currently focused on video. Can we do meaningful rev share out with IGTV, long form video? Is it possible to do a short form video? We're continuing to explore there as well.
All right, yeah, I appreciate everything you're rolling out. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for some monetization for Reels, because that's where I know a lot of people are at as well. With monetization comes the more followers you have, a lot of times the more money you can make, and that comes a lot of temptation to get fake followers. So do you think fake followers are a problem on Instagram? What are the side effects of having real versus fake followers, and can brands even tell the difference?
So fake followers are definitely an issue. They're an issue that we are getting better at addressing over time, but we still have plenty of work to do. I would encourage you to not go after fake followers for a couple of reasons. One is usually the way this works is you sign up for some relatively sketchy service. They might even offer you a promotion for free, but you have to log into Instagram through their service, which then gives them your password, which is how they do fake followers in the first place. They go then and log in as you and like other people's stuff as you and charge those other people for that. So do not give your password to anyone. Please turn it on two-factor. You're going to be compromising your account and your own privacy. So that's one. But two is, as we get better at identifying these fake followers, and we look at things like, hey, have you followed and commented and liked every minute for the last 24 hours? You're probably not a real person. Are you having a ton of activity from the same device or the same IP address or the same old version of Instagram? We get better at these over time, and then we remove that activity in those accounts at times. And so you might see your follower counts drop or get caught up in that and some enforcement action in some negative way. So please don't go try and buy followers. We know there are services out there. We are getting better at tracking them down and shutting them down, and we don't want you to get stuck in the crosshairs.
Yeah, I've definitely been reading on Reddit from people who've lost their Instagram accounts, and at one point they bought some followers. So I know it's definitely come to bite some people. I love this next question that I got. What do you think that TikTok does better than Instagram, and what does Instagram do better than TikTok?
Ooh, I do like that question. TikTok does two things really well and better than Instagram that I want us to catch up with, but we have yet to. One is, from a creator perspective, it does a much better job at breaking new talent. Instagram is much better at helping creators that already have made a name for themselves do more online. TikTok is better at identifying new and young talent and helping them break out in the first place. And we want to be really good at that. We've historically focused on that less, but I'm pushing my teams hard on getting better at doing well by the little guy. So that's one. And two is, I mean, they've been at it in some ways longer. At least they've been at short form entertaining video longer. And they're much more reliable in terms of being just a really entertaining thing. You know that you can tap on TikTok and you're immediately going to smile and be entertained. Now we're getting better. Reels growth has been really strong, but we still are much, much smaller than TikTok and have a long way to go to catch up with the competition. But those are the two things I think that they do better. From a creator's perspective, broadly though, I feel like we have more to offer. And I think what we have to offer is relatively unique. A unique combination of a whole suite of different formats, because maybe you're not a video creator, a global reach, and a product that is very designed with an individual person and even a creator in mind. And most of the other platforms, and there's a lot of competition out there, are either focused more on one type of storytelling, so YouTube and video or Clubhouse and audio, or they're not as global as we are, like Snapchat, for instance. And I think we have sort of a unique combination there. That doesn't mean we're gonna be the best. I think we have to work to be the best, and we have to earn creators' admiration and loyalty. And that's why we're doing things like Creator Week this week and trying to bring everyone together and hear from them and build more for creators. And I think we have a long way to go, but I am cautiously optimistic about our ability to really deliver an immense amount of value for creators over the long run and to help millions of creators over maybe the next 5 to 10 years make a living.
Yeah, I do appreciate you guys are investing a lot more in creators. I'm seeing that, and I hope to see that continue. The next question is about racial bias and discrimination. And unfortunately, it's a problem on all social media platforms. And last year, you did pledge to combat algorithmic biases on Instagram. And I'd love to hear about what steps you've taken since then.
So algorithmic bias is an issue. Bias in general is an issue. Equity is, I think, it's not only something that we believe in, but something that we think about all the time. And we now try to bring as a lens to everything that we do. In terms of harassment, which is one of the biggest issues that face creators, we're trying to not only prevent harassment from happening whenever possible, but also creating tools that'll give some power back to those who are the targets of harassment when inevitably they do get harassed. We're too big to not have it happen at all. So more to do on prevention. That a lot of the work is classifier work, identifying problematic behavior, taking accounts down, et cetera. But also more to do on the tooling side. Restrict was designed specifically for bullying of teens, but actually I think is an incredibly valuable tool for creators who are harassed. You get to make it so that if someone comments on your stuff, it looks like they commented, but no one else can see it unless you approve it. And they can send you messages and it ends up in the request inbox, which means that you can read it without sending red receipts. Hidden words is another big one. We've had hidden words in comments for a long time. This allows you to block certain words in your comments. I highly recommend it. But we actually now just extended hidden words to apply to direct too. So we've got some direct controls as well, because we all know, though a lot of good stuff goes down in the DMs, sometimes it gets pretty scary in there as well. So trying to come up with more innovative ways of giving some power back to creators when they are harassed. Now, and on bias more broadly, there's all sorts of ways that bias can creep into our systems, into how Instagram works. It can happen in the context of verification. So if we are relying on third-party publications to get a sense for who is notable and who is not, and those publications have bias, then we are subject to that bias. So we try to broaden the number of publications we look at, for instance, and are doing that all the time. But can also happen in our algorithms, in our classifiers. If we have labelers that are biased, or we are not careful in the classifiers that we build and how we write them, we can introduce unintended consequences there. So there we are very careful to have a broad set of different labelers, try to go around the world, different cultures, try to audit all of our systems and make sure they're not enforcing anything in an odd way or having any unintended outcomes. And we have all sorts of processes for those parts of what we do. There is no one answer because it is a broad challenge, but it's something we care about.
Great. Thank you so much for your time today, Adam. That's all the time we have today. So thanks so much for answering our burning questions.
I feel like we're
out of time. So he's at Mosseri for anyone who wants to slide into his DMs. Stay tuned for the next session. I hear there's a lot of money on the line. I am at Karen X Chang. I'll see you on Instagram and DM him the rest of your questions.
Karen, you're the best.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much.